Spank Gotti. Welcome to episode 2 of the Spank Gotti podcast. Now, look, today we're going to do things a little differently. Got a special guest from the hometown, man. So I definitely appreciate this guy for coming on the podcast, man. I definitely appreciate this guy for taking his time out and just being here with me. You know what I'm saying? But first off, I want to say I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the listeners from the last podcast. I definitely really appreciate it. And thank y'all for following me on this journey, man. We're going to go ahead and get straight into it, man. Big ups to my guy, Herbert Broussard, man, from Lafayette, Louisiana, man, the home city, man. What's up, big dog?
Yes, sir. Spank Gotti, man. Honored to be on your platform on the second episode as well. Like I told you, my birthday is July 2nd. So to be on the second episode, it's kind of like that's right in the alignment, right where we need to be. So I'm happy, man, to be here and to give value to the audience that may need it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. And for the people listening, I definitely feel like this is a huge topic as far as, what's going on in the world and us taking care of our health, not only our mental health, but our physical health. Our physical health is just as important, because without our physical health, we can't go out and be able to mentally do what we need to do or physically do whatever we need to do. So you being here and you being able to, give some type of wisdom or give some type of knowledge to who's ever listening is definitely important, man. So I actually have a first question for you, man.
Let's do it.
I know that you're a former military, right?
Correct.
All right. So what actually made you want to go into the military? What really, like, what was going through your head whenever you actually was like, all right, cool, let me just fill out for the military?
So real quick, my grandfather, he was in the Army. Now, him being in the Army wasn't what made me want to join the Navy. It was just, at the time, I was kind of testing the waters of community college. And I was listening to people input telling me, that I should go to college. That way, when I go offshore, I can kind of start in a better position than people who don't have a degree or whatnot. So I was listening to that, but that's not really what I want to do with my life. So things was kind of happening at home that made me want to just go out and challenge myself, get away from my comfort zone, and just put myself in an area where I'm not familiar with nothing. So that led me to sign up for the Navy, and just after that, I spent the next 2.5 years serving.
Man, that's definitely dope. Mm-hmm. So whenever I got out of high school, I actually applied for the military. Okay. I think it was the Army, not the Army, but the
Marines.
No,
the National Guard.
The reserve. So I applied for the reserve, and I actually failed my ASVAB by a couple of points. And after I failed my ASVAB, I was like, "Fuck all this shit. I'm not doing shit."
Hey, man. Yeah. I was gonna say, man, I took the ASVAB maybe like 6-7 times, man, just to, like I told you before we got on here, like my life has always been about overcoming. So I took it 6 to 7 times because leaving home was something that I had to do. Like looking back, it was something that I had to do. And so yeah, man, I took it like 6-7 times, and I got placed in there. So
yeah, that's actually dope, man. And you say you was in the Navy?
In the Navy, yeah.
How long you served for?
I was in there for 2.5 years, and then I was medically discharged with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah. Okay, man. So, like, how has being in the Navy, being in the military shaped your life? Like, how has that made you a better person?
Yeah. So, again, before I left home, I was a skinny kid, frail, almost or slightly timid. Mm-hmm. And that was due to my upbringing, due to the things that I seen going on in the home. So whenever I joined the Navy and I left home, and my first place was going to boot camp out there in Great Lakes. So whenever I went to boot camp, man, it was kind of like a wake up call. And that was the first time that I really had structure. That was the first time that I actually was doing things repetitiously. Like every day we getting up, we're doing the exact same damn thing.
Yeah.
I look around, everybody look the same. It don't matter if you're black, it don't matter if you're white, it don't matter if you're Asian. We all look alike. And we all doing the exact same thing. So at that time, me understanding that, okay, I have to be disciplined because I didn't really know what discipline was. Like I knew we was getting a whipping. Well, I knew discipline was, was sometimes a butt whipping. But when I left home, that was my first time actually being in a structured environment where everything was about being disciplined. It was about being timely. It was about being respectful of yourself and of your neighbor. So going through that, it kind of awoken a side in me that was, I guess at the time I was really hungry for that. I wanted structure in my life, right? Because my daddy wasn't in the house. I wanted to do better with myself. I wanted to have a better mindset. I just wanted to be better. So joining the Navy, getting out of my comfort zone when I went to boot camp, it pushed me into understanding that there is more to life. Like there's more we can become, and there's more that we can do. It's never, we never can do enough. We always can do more. So at that time, that what it was about for me. It was just about, I guess the child in me, the inner child in me had wanted structure. He wanted discipline. He wanted attention. He wanted like that type of stuff. And so I found that in the military.
Right. I feel that. So would you say that the military, did it save you in a sense? Like if you chose not to go to the military, do you feel like you still would have been that like who you are now?
I think I honestly can answer that and say no. Because at that time, that was 2013, I left. And around that time, that's when a lot of people in the city was on like that legal weed. They was on that spice. It was almost like a epidemic or like a, you know what I'm saying, or like a pandemic where everybody was on that shit.
Yeah.
And so even people close to me was, you know what I'm saying, experimenting with that type of shit. So me leaving actually, I believe, saved me because it opened my mind to things outside of my city. Like I was thinking big at an early age, but whenever I really left home and I spread my wings, like I left my mom, you know what I'm saying? I left my siblings behind, and I'm the oldest child. So I feel like it did save me because it gave me an understanding that it's more to life. And it's more that, again, it's more that we can do. Because as soon as I left from boot camp, I went to Florida and then I went to Virginia Beach. Well, actually, before Virginia Beach, I went on deployment. So me just understanding that there's more to life, I think it definitely did save me.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I'll touch back on that. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's definitely good because where we come from, man, is I feel like a lot of people get stuck there. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't trying to go out and explore and see what else is out there, for the long, you just gonna be subjected to what the city is and just not even what the city is, but just that surrounding area. You know what I'm saying? So to have the opportunity to go out and to venture off and to just get lost in a sense is definitely a blessing because your mind is seeing different things that's not just what you grew up seeing. You know, and that's definitely a blessing. And then so you also said that you was discharged for being a diabetic.
Yeah, type 1 diabetes. Yeah.
Okay, so how did that like affect you whenever you found out that how was that transformation for you? Because that's a transformation, and the reason I say the transformation because I have certain people in my family that's a diabetic, and I see the things that they go through.
Yeah, man. So my wife now, she's my girlfriend then. So she had came down one weekend, and they had like this hotel on base. So we was in the hotel on base, and I decided to go walk to the store. So as I'm walking down the street to go walk to the store, I quickly noticed that my eyesight was blurry. So that was the first time. So when she left town, I found myself the next weekend staying stuck in my barracks room, and I was basically pissing a lot, drinking a lot, even had cotton mouth. So I had those symptoms. And so what made me go to the hospital was when I got off the bed and my boxes fell completely off of me. So at the time I was like 145. And whenever my boxes fell off me, whenever I got out of the bed, I went way, man, I was 135. So within 2 days, I lost 10 pounds. So that made me go, had my barracks roommate, he dropped me to Port Smith Hospital where, they take care of the military personnel. So when I went there and they told me that, it was almost like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was almost, I didn't really know how to handle it because at the time I was 21 going on 22. So 22 years of my life, right? I'm regular or normal. And then I'm being told that I have a lifelong illness or disease where I have to take insulin for the rest of my life. So after being from that moment when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, for like the next 3 years, it had me, I was in a low vibrational state where I was in fear. I was showing apathy where I lost interest in my life, like my just my well being. I was depressed and I was secretly angry with myself because like how in the fuck did like I was telling you offline, like how my whole life has been about overcoming. Every time I would plant my foot, the rug was always pulled from underneath me. So that was another time when a rug was pulled from underneath me. So for the next 3 years, I was just stuck in a depression to where it ate me up and it made every other area of my life be affected because I wasn't taking care of the most important asset, which was me. Because I guess I was just stuck in a situation to where it was like I guess I just hated it. And whenever you stay in a low vibration like that, man, repeatedly every day, you're not waking up to try to get better, you're just waking up to try to go get money. It won't never work out because you're not taking care of the most important asset, which is you.
Right.
So it kind of affected everything, man. Like I said, so I stayed stuck in a depression for 3 years. Far too long. But again, at 22 years old, and you're given a disease like that, right? How can you expect for me to operate normally again? Like think normally again and care for life. So that's what it was at the time.
Yeah, man, that's definitely tough, and I could only imagine what you was going through at the time. Just being in the military and thinking that man, you in the military, and whenever you're in the military, you thinking you're about to just go
Mm-hmm.
at it and do some stuff, and then just to get hit with
Right.
this type of stuff, that's definitely hard to actually take in and to
Yeah.
brace, you know.
Yeah.
And then so after you overcame the part about you being a diabetic, you then jumped into the real estate market, right? Is that correct, or
Uh-huh.
wrong on that subject?
Yeah. So actually, man, the same year I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, I was in aviation in the Navy. So I was working on F-18s, strike fighters.
Hmm.
So I was kind of preparing for my departure. And I was looking for ways to kind of make money because I was really in fear and I was really in a panic.
Yeah.
And so I was just looking up ways on YouTube, like ways to make money. And the first video I seen is real estate. And so I hopped on that, and then in that transition of me exiting the military, one to work in the real estate business, our industry. Remember what I told you. For the next 3 years after my my type 1 diabetes diagnosis, I was in a depression.
Yeah.
So the things that I was doing in real estate, it really wasn't working out for me because I was neglecting myself. I'm trying to go out there and solve other people's housing problems when I can't even solve my own mental problem.
Right.
Like, so in that same time frame, I picked up real estate and I was, working it, but at the same time, I was neglecting the most important asset, which was me. I wanted to go get external assets, but I wasn't taking care of the most important asset, which was me. And so, following that, for the next, I want to say, 3 to 4 years, yeah, 3 to 4 years, I was in the real estate. And 2019 happened. That's when everything came crashing down. because I finally understood that, Herb, you're neglecting yourself.
Right.
You're not taking care of your diabetes. You're not tracking your meals like you're supposed to. You're not tracking your blood sugars like you're supposed to. You're not on top of your lab work. You see what I'm saying? I'm neglecting all of this important stuff, but I'm trying to do real estate. And real estate is really a personal business. You have to have people skills.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I'm at war with myself. So how can I go out there and be the best Herb if I'm at war with myself? How can I help Spank solve his housing problem if I'm internally at war, or if I'm at war internally? So yeah, I did the real estate thing, and like I said, I was trying to work it, but being that I was neglecting myself, eventually it all came crashing down, and I had to pivot.
Yeah. Now I understand that, man, and your pivot, man. Like I was telling you off this whole video thing,
Mhm.
man, off this whole podcast thing, your pivot was so beautiful, man, and I genuinely mean that, man, because like I say, like I'm telling you again, and I'm saying this just on the record, just
Uh-huh.
seeing the transformation of where you started from where you are now.
Mhm.
That shit was amazing, man.
Yeah.
Like I just seen that the whole transformation, just like God damn. I was like, God, wait, how the hell he did this? And like, wait, I like it's just amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm a fitness person myself. I'm a
Mhm.
fitness person. The question that I have for you is, so after you got through
Mhm.
all that trial and error, what motivated you to be like, all right, cool, look, let me get into fitness, let me focus on fitness, let me get me right. Because whenever you're going through that type of trauma,
Yeah.
the last thing that an average person is worried about is their fitness.
Right.
That's not what a person does.
Right.
Whenever a person is in that type of trauma, they're either thinking about trying to take their mind off of that trauma by doing stuff that's not healthy for them, or they're
Mhm.
thinking about just laying in their trauma and just suffering there. But you, like you said, you pivot, and you the shit was amazing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, what inspired that transformation for you to just be like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
let me get into fitness?
So I read this book here about 2 times a year. It's
Yeah.
uh it's called Health, Joy, and Prosperity for You. Or
Hmm.
it's called Health, Joy, and Prosperity for You by Dr. Rev White. So he was like the first prosperity preacher. So at the time, um, first I wanted to reset my mindset. And
Yeah.
so whenever you reset your mental, your physical is gonna follow regardless. Because however, Greg Plitt says this, he says, however your body look is just showing the purity of
Yes.
your mind.
Yes.
So if your
Yes.
body is clean and sculpted, that's just showing that your mind is clean and sculpted. If your
Yep.
body is trashy and it looks like shit, that just means your mind is shitty.
Yep.
So after reading that book, it just made me realize that because like I said, on first I was doing the mental work. I wanted to make
Yep.
sure my mindset was right. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't looking at everything that was happening to me as it's happening to me instead of it's happening for me. So that inspired me to now then wanting to get in shape because my mind was in shape. So I was like, okay, my body has to follow. So after having my mindset reshaped, I started working out. It made me feel better about myself. It made me build up my discipline. It made me create newer and healthier habits. And it also just made me more sharp and more focused and on a mission to recreate the man that I am. Like, because the thing is, I never seen someone like me in my family, meaning like somebody who's clean and sculpted and shaped up. So I wanted to create the man that I needed in my life. So that's who I'm creating. That's who I created is the man that I needed in my life. That way I can offer that to the world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, that was amazing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I keep on telling you, man, just that transformation
Mhm.
was just amazing to see because there's not a lot of people that can commit to something
Right.
and not only commit to something but to see something through. You know, a lot of people it's like, hey, I want to try this, but
Right.
uh, I got this pothole that I stepped into, so now I'm just gonna take a break from it, and
Right.
I'll start back later. I like you really just saw it through, and you just kept going. You know what I'm saying? And the powerful thing about you is, like this goes back to you being a diabetic
Mhm.
and dealing with that situation. You didn't let that dictate where you are going or who you already become. And even though you're still dealing with that,
Mhm.
you still doing your thing and you're still
Right.
going through. You know what I'm saying? So like, how has being diagnosed with being a diabetic still affect you? Doing what you're doing as far as your fitness journey.
Yeah. So I can't lie, man. Some nights when I gotta take my medicine, when I'm eating and before I'm going to bed, I still might sometimes curse. Like I still might say, "Fuck, I don't feel like doing this."
Yeah.
Oh fuck, why I gotta be like this? But I quickly snap out of it and just do what I gotta do. But
Yeah.
with my fitness can affect my diabetes, and my diabetes can affect my fitness. So let's just to say, if I was to wake up low with a low blood sugar, right, and my body is now scrambling trying to pull energy from my body, it's gonna basically burn my fat. So that can affect how I lift in the gym. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I might have to go in the gym on that day and lift light. Because what's going to happen is if I lift heavy, I can possibly hurt myself. Because whenever you have low blood sugar, your body gets weak. You're weak. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's put it on the flip side, though. So if I go in the gym and I decide to lift heavy, lifting heavy creates adrenaline, which is a stress hormone, which can spike my blood sugar. So if I
Right.
lift too heavy in the gym, that can possibly spike my blood sugar. So I have to stay on top of it within those moments. So if my blood sugar rises too high, I can't work out. If it's over 250, I can't work out,
Right.
right? And if I'm in a low, I can't work out because I'm not going to have the strength or the energy. So
Right.
my fitness can affect my diabetes, and my diabetes can affect my fitness. But I didn't let that stop me. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first started my fitness journey, I was in the park. I didn't go to the gym. I went straight to the park in the sun, right? And the sun can also affect my diabetes. That can cause my blood sugar to rise. But at the time, I just didn't give a fuck. I
Right.
needed the word I gave to myself, I needed to keep it to myself. And I needed to build a person who was confident in himself, who didn't take no for an answer, who committed to the plan and stuck with it, and who didn't derail from the plan when things got hard, whenever life decided to throw a fork in the road. Because I have family members of mine and even friends who came to the park with me to work out and do what I was doing, but they didn't last a week to 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? Because my burning why or my burning desire was different from theirs. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I had to do this because this was the only way that I could have create somebody who I can be proud of. That's the
Right.
only way that I could have created pride in my life. You see what I'm saying? Because like going back to what I was telling you, my life has always been about overcoming trials, and that was just another one of them.
Right. And I definitely like how you have said that I'm why
Getting busy.
I definitely feel like, a person that has that burning why is gonna take them further because if you don't have that burning why, you are like you're gonna have certain obstacles that's
Mhm.
gonna stop you because you don't have that burning why. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you getting this far? Why are you trying to become this person? That burning why is gonna take you so much further than than anything in this world. And people truly don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? And I know
Hey, I'm
earlier
busy. Come back in a second. I'm busy.
I know earlier you said that you are married. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure that marriage, even though I'm not married, I feel like a man being married can help him out if he's married to the right person tremendously
Right,
than if he's doing it by himself.
right.
So my question right now is how has being married, help you overcome these obstacles that you're facing?
Uh, it helped me um, by having somebody that I can confide in without somebody passing judgment on me.
Yeah.
But all the work that I did was internal.
Right.
All the work I did was really from me. But having somebody that you can confide in and that can look at your situation from an outside lens is always great, especially if they're giving you good guidance or good, you know what I'm saying, good solutions, I should say, to help better yourself. But like I always tell people, like it starts within. Like however you feel within, or whatever you see within is what you're gonna see on the outside.
Right.
So like marriage can help you, but you shouldn't rely on it. You see what I'm saying? Because that person have their own struggles and their own situations that they need to take care of themselves.
Yep.
Right. And that's how I feel about that situation, man. Like it helped me because I had somebody who could have looked at it from a different perspective and give me great solutions. But also I look at it from I had to do the internal work. It starts with me. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm a firm believer in however I treat myself is how people are going to treat me. Yeah. So that just basically means if I'm not trying to put one foot in front of the other, then I can't expect my significant other or my wife to try to force me to get on the right track. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's just what I believe, man. Like it was a personal job for me. Like during that time, it was real personal. You see what I'm saying? Because whether or not that person was going to help me, I was going to get the work done regardless.
Right. I feel that, brother. I feel that 1,000%, man. So I was actually doing a little lurking on your social media, man. And one thing that really stuck out to me that I agree with 1,000%, and that reason I agree with it is because I feel like I live by that way also. It's from a quote from The Rock. You know, we was just talking about this on camera. So there's three steps. You know, the first step is remember where you started. You know, the second step is work with anger, and then the third step is build your body. And I feel like you definitely stuck with that because again, just seeing the transformation of where you began and then where you are now, it takes a lot of dedication to just go on and just do some stuff just what you did, especially whenever it comes to working out and getting your physique together. It takes a lot to do that. And like you said earlier, you have to get right mentally before you actually get your physical part right. Because if you try to go out and get your physical part right, you ain't gonna be right. You gonna do it for a short amount of time. That's why we have people that's like, oh, I want to get my body right, and then they get a membership to Planet Fitness, to 10 Fitness, to Level Fitness, whatever the fitness gyms that they have. They get it, but they're not right mentally, so they do it for, honestly, average people gonna do it for about a month, and then they're gonna fall off from it. You know what I'm saying? But you stuck with it, and you committed to it, and you just really just dug into it. You know what I'm saying? And as far as preparing your mental for it, what could you give to people to prepare their mental to be able to work out, or just prepare to get their physical physique together? Like how do they get prepared mentally first?
Right. So what worked for me was creating the person that I seen in my head. That's what worked for me. So I would tell people you have to do it for a bigger reason than yourself. It can't be about you. Because like you said, the average person stops at a month. That's because they're doing it for them. They're being selfish fucks and doing it for them. You see what I'm saying? Whenever you look past whenever you look past your ego, which is you have to do it for something much greater than you. Do it so you can be a role model to your kids. And if you don't have kids, do it to be a role model to the kids in your family. Do it so you can feel good. Do it
Right.
so you can have an avenue of where you can put your stress. Or if you're starting early in the morning doing it, you can set your date. That's why I tell people, do it in the morning. Get your workout done in the morning. That way you can do the hardest thing of your fucking day in the morning, and then everything else after that is going to be much easier for you to manage. So I would tell people to look past yourself. Don't think about you. Why you want to get in shape? You see, I didn't look at myself whenever I decided to get in shape. I look at my situation. I say, okay, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I seen that they have these type 1, they have these diabetes complications, and I don't want any of that shit. And I want to be around for my kids. You see what I'm saying? I want to be able to run after their ass without having to worry about certain situations. I still want my penis area, right, to get erect for my wife, because that's something that affects diabetics. You see what I'm saying? If it's managed poorly. So all of those things was way bigger than me. And the last thing is that create the motherfucker who you needed in your life. That's why that's why I became this, because I needed the male version that I am today. I needed him in my life whenever I was a youngster. I remember going through, I remember like being in a place of, I felt helpless. My mom was involved in a domestic violence situation, right? So being a child, seeing that type of shit, you seen that type of dysfunction, and you can't do anything about it because you're young, small, and weak compared to a grown man. You see what I'm saying? So I had to create this motherfucker who is unbreakable, has an unbreakable mindset, and who stand for something. So for anybody who's looking to transform not only their aesthetics, but their mindset, their life, look past yourself. Once you self-actualize, you have to transcend self. That means that your purpose has to be bigger than you. It has to be the offering that you give to the world.
Right. Right. And I understand that. And for some people, man, it's so hard to get that mindset as far as, understanding who you are and understanding that what you're doing is bigger than yourself. Because so many people live for the moment and so many people live for themselves. That's why they can't finish a task.
Right.
That's why whenever they go to the gym, they only work out for a month and then they come back in 3-4 months and they're like, okay, I'm trying to get my shit back together again. Or that's why whenever a person starts a business, they're like, okay, starting a business sounds good. Let me start this business, and then they don't fall through it.
Mhm.
Well, if you understand that this shit is bigger than me, you're gonna work at it. You're gonna work at it because you have a purpose behind that
Mhm.
why. You have that burning why. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just don't understand that scenario. And
Yeah.
it's so hard for the average mind to grasp that and to actually understand that what was your whys and what is your keys to success. And we all got different levels of success. We all have different definitions of success.
Yeah.
So what was your whys and what is your keys to for you to keep going and for you to just do what you got to do. And even though you said that the part about you being a diabetic, outside of that part, what is your whys and what is your keys to what you're trying to do and what you're trying to build?
Yeah. So I have a couple short whys, man. First one would be to leave a legacy for my kids, and not so much financial legacy or anything like that, but human capital legacy. I want my
Yeah.
kids to be able, whenever I go, I want my kids to be able to see that their dad created change in other people's lives, not just our own life, but other people's lives, right? So I want them to see the impact that I made with my influence, right?
Right.
Secondly, is my why, and it kind of ties in with my first why, is I want to help create those unbreakable motherfuckers in people. I want to help that guy out there
Go ahead.
who seen his mom in a domestic violence situation, who felt helpless, who've gone through life, and every time you plant your foot in something, the rug was pulled from underneath you. That's the guys and girls that I do it for. Those people who want to change their lives. That way they can go make an impact in other people's lives. That's really my whys. My why was just to create the man that I was missing in my life and show other people how to create the best version of themselves. That's really my only two whys. And my keys for attaining or achieving anything, the first thing would be to detach from the outcome. Detach from the outcome. That simply means if my goal is to put on 15 pounds within the next 90 days, I should not be worrying about the next 90 days. I should be focused on how I'm going to look. I should be focused on the daily positive actions that I have to take. That way, in 90 days, whenever that date comes, I can look back 90 days prior and see the transformation. So you need to focus on the positive daily steps. You need to focus on your wake up time. You need to focus on tracking your macronutrients. You need to focus on not missing a workout, if that's what your goal is. Those are the steps that you should not miss. So that's the first thing. Detach from the outcome, and then everything that you want will be attached to you. My second thing is you have to make sure that you transcend self. You have to make sure that what you're doing is not about you. It's for other people. Because if you're doing it for you, you won't last long at it. Now, they have some people out there who can do it, but for the majority of people, we need something much stronger to pull us to get the job done. And then lastly, I would say have fun and enjoy your journey. Because your journey is your journey. Just because a motherfucker is winning in something that you want to do, it doesn't mean they're going to be winning 20 years later. But it might take you 10 years to crack the ceiling. But you have to stay on your purpose. You can't forget why you started. You can't forget where you come from. And you always have to maintain a healthy mindset and a healthy physical body. Because with those two things, you will learn that image is everything. And once you got a good mindset and your body matches your mindset, and energy is going to flow from you and it's going to attract people and places into your life where you need to be or who you need to connect with. Matter of fact, this happened to me this week. I was in the gym. They have an older guy by the name of Wes. That's his name. His name is Wes, Mr. Wes, actually. And I was in the gym and I was doing my bicep work. And he came up to me. He asked me, "What do I do?" And that's how you would know that people look at you in admiration because they want to know what you do. So I politely told them I change lives because that's my purpose. My purpose is to change people's lives, right? And because he told me, he was like, "Dude, you have an encouraging spirit." And I know that because it's just flowing from you. And mind you, I never opened my mouth to say I'm an encourager. That was the vibration that he was picking up from me. And he told me,